Yo, what's up? Us here with this Axel Rudi Pell, Into the Storm. This came out the 21st of January. This is like their 15th album or some shit. They've been around for a long time. If you don't know them, I mean, they're just like a power metal band. Their band name comes from the guitar player whose name is Axel Rudi Pell. And, yeah, this is like the follow-up to Circle of the Oath from 2012. And, yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this album?
If you know Axel Rudi Pell, and you go into this album not expecting to get blown away, kind of like I did when, I heard this album was being announced, then you're not going to be really disappointed. Like, this is, it's Axel, it's the band doing what they do. It's a lot of the same old stuff. A lot of it works, and a lot of it's still pretty cool, but I mean, like, it's just a lot of the same old, like I said, the same old stuff. John Giletti still writes about, he likes writing about elements.
The elements, dude.
The elements, dude. It's so awesome. And, some of the riffs I probably have heard before. Some of the chord progressions, are very, almost the same as before, and the solos kind of sound the same. But, I mean, like, if you almost kind of put that stuff aside and just, like, listen to a lot of the songs, they're not half-bad songs. Some of them maybe might drag on a little bit too long, but, like I said, they're not all that bad songs. Some songs that I actually kind of enjoyed was the Inquisitorial Procedure and When Truth Hurts, and Into the Storm was a pretty cool song. And but it does suffer from, the very Axel Rudi Pell thing, which is like, there's the good songs, and then the rest of the album just kind of meshes together because all of it sounds so similar. For being very similar, the guitarist Axel Rudi Pell, it's a decent album. I mean, he didn't push himself, which, I mean, in a way, these guys have, done decently well in Germany. 15 albums having basically the same sound, so I mean, I guess they don't have to change if they don't want to. John Giletti, he's still a phenomenal vocalist. He's one of my favorite power metal vocalists. He just has a voice about him that's nobody else is like him. And I mean, he doesn't look like it. He looks like, he goes to the gym a lot and works out. He looks like one of those guys. He looks like a tough guy. Actually, the whole band looks like a bunch of tough guys. But it's like, it's just interesting, and besides Axel Rudi Pell being, a pretty good guitarist and John being a good singer, the rest of the band, nothing else really stands out. The drums are just kind of standard power metal drums, not too complicated. I mean, they just got a new drummer, I think, for this album. But, I mean, it's nothing mind-blowing, nothing spectacular. And that's really what a lot of my opinion of this album is. It's good, but not spectacular.
This band, yeah, they're a power metal band, but at the same time, they're also a little bit more of a regular, just heavy metal band. Or sometimes you can even call this band a rock band. Sometimes. And the thing is about this band is that we first get into them, like we did, and we're just like, this is all fucking amazing. And then after a while, you really start to notice how much they really, 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 really repeat themselves. And so then you just kind of jam the songs or the albums that are good. Like, The Crest is not that bad. Mystic is really good. Oceans of Time, Masquerade Ball. Those albums are all pretty solid as a whole. But then there's just albums like their last one, Circle of the Oath. I think I listened to the whole thing once, and I could barely make it through the whole thing just because it just felt the same. And a lot of their stuff feels the same. Even the albums that are good, they still feel the same because they write literally the same exact things I think I've heard them use the line "out of the shadows" about 40,000 times now, which kind of sucks. But I mean, that's not too bad. As bad as it is, I feel, on the guitar side, and the guitars are just. Some of the riffs are really cool. Like the riff and Tower of Lies, when it starts off, is just fucking heavy. It's really, really good. But then later they have another song, I forget what it is, Touching Heaven, or one of the songs high above towards the end of the album, that where the riff kind of sounded just like the riff in Tower of Lies. It's like you just kind of wrote that. It's just the same, chord progressions and all that stuff. And it just kind of, after a while, you're just like, oh. And I think the worst part about them just being repetitious is the soloing by Axel Rudi Pell. He's a good guitar player, I'm not gonna lie. Some of his solos are really good, but after a while, it's just like, dude, come on. He literally uses the same notes, the same patterns, he bends the same exact notes. It's just, the solos are all the fucking same on this album, where he'll start off by going, and it's just like, oh my god, I swear I've heard him just slide up and down the neck about every fucking song. It just, that really bothered me. But, I mean, some of the songs on here aren't bad. When Truth Hurts is probably my favorite song. It's a ballad. Axel Rudi Pell's ballads have always been pretty rad. Like Night and Rain really stands out to me.
They've always had amazing ballads. I love I like half the ballads.
So, I mean, if you like a lot of ballads, I mean, this band's for you. So, I mean, that song was really cool, and especially just some of the little touches that were in that song, such as the lower vocal harmony when he says "When Truth Hurts" in the chorus, just kind of added to it. As a whole, that has a really good chorus and was just not a bad song. But then you move on, and it just feels like it repeats itself. Like Tower of Lies is okay. It just seems like the album starts really good, and then after a while you're like, this is kind of what they just did, And it just kind of bothers me after a while. But I have to admit that the song Into the Storm, the title track, is a pretty awesome 10-minute epic. I really, really enjoy that song. Sometimes Axel Rudi Pell can write some really epic songs, such as The End of Our Time, or Black Moon Pyramid, or Mystica, or something like that, where they're really long, but they're just so awesome, Like, I love the, weird, I don't know, Middle Eastern, Asian influence in this song, and the lead, that was really cool in the chorus, there's this really good lead that comes in. I was like, this rocks, dude. If they could just write songs like that, and the reason why it rocks is because it's different than the other songs on here. If they could just, write another album like that. That's why I like some of the other ones, because, every song kind of has a different feel to it, but sometimes it's just like, man.
I think I heard this a bunch of times.
Yeah, like sometimes they're really good, and when they're really good, I enjoy them a lot. But then it's just sometimes they feel like they're more creative, and then sometimes they're just like, new album. Yeah. And here it is. Which, I mean, it's whatever. John, what's his name? Giletti, yeah. He's a great vocalist. He really, really is. I mean, yeah, he kind of writes the same lyrics and sings about the same stuff, and even sometimes uses the same exact passages.
Lightning strikes the sun.
And things, like in Tower of Lies, he comes in going, oh! I feel like I've heard that a lot from him. But as a whole, he has a really nice voice, a really soothing voice, and one that's just has a lot of power to it, and I overall really enjoy his voice when he sings. In my mind, he's the best, member of this band, because like Keith said, I mean, it's kind of Axel Rudi Pell, John Giletti, and then other guys. hard ass looking dudes. Look a picture up, you'll laugh. It's really funny. But yeah, I mean, because the drums really don't stand out that much. It's like, dude, that's awesome. That was a really wicked drum fill or something, or really wicked beat. That just doesn't happen much. They did just get a new drummer for this album.
So it might just be trying them out, maybe. But
yeah, so who knows? But I mean, sometimes they have the groove. Sometimes they'll have that riff. Most of the time, they don't have that solo anymore. And sometimes they'll have that chorus that you're just like, yeah. But as a whole, it just kind of gets boring after a little while. And some of the songs that towards the end just drag on way too long. And you're just like, you could have cut this song by 30 seconds and still got your point across. But, yeah.
Another thing is, they have a cover. It's
Hey Hey My My by Neil Young.
Which I thought the song was, it's long, but I mean, it was cool that I like.
It's cool for like the first 4 minutes or whatever.
But then once you get to like minute, yeah,
and then it just repeats the chorus over and over again.
And I'm just like,
oh my god.
And also one thing which we I think we might have mentioned already. I don't remember, but this band always has awesome album artwork.
Oh yeah, the album art for this album is wicked.
Which is epic.
It
fits the epic mood of the band. But everything, we've already said. It's like I said, if you kind of almost, if you look past a lot of the similarities and you just look at a song, like I'm just going to look at this as a song, a lot of them work really, really well.
Yeah.
It's just that when you look at it as a whole with the entire band, it's like, oh, I mean, I've literally heard them use the same riff twice, in Legions of Hell, there's like the main riff, and then they use it in Dreaming Dead. It's the exact same riff, except there's just not a lead on top of it. So, I mean...
if you like songs where they sing about lightning striking the sun, coming out of the shadows...
Sailing.
The wind, sailing... what am I missing? I don't even know.
Yeah, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, the elements.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, what would you give this album?
I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10 because it didn't surprise me, but it wasn't bad. Like I said, there's a couple songs on this album that I would jam, like probably a couple times. It's just that I wouldn't jam the album as a whole. So yeah, I give it a 7.5.
I'd give this a 6 out of 10. Besides songs like Into the Storm, When Truth Hurts, Tower of Lies, maybe Touching Heaven. They sing about heaven a lot too. Besides that, I don't know. If you don't like Axel Rudi Pell, don't listen to this. If you like them, give this a shot, because you might dig it. But if you want to try to get into Axel Rudi Pell, listen to albums like The Crust, Mystica, Black Moon Pyramid. More of their older stuff really is where it's at, because it seems like then they had lots of ideas. Now it's just
stuff.
I don't know. Whatever. Check it out.
Yeah.
See you later, homie.
Yep. What is it?